Hello, rock stars. Welcome to the January Team Zoom. It's the first one of the year, 2016. It's a brand new year, brand new you. I have an amazing interview to bring to you tonight. We've got three incredible women, moms from three different parts of the country, here tonight to share with you their struggles and their stories on their way to success. What's the success? These three women are first-time 5-star elite coaches in Team Beachbody. I got shivers up and down my body when I even said it. Ladies, yes, should we start with a round of applause? So just a heads up right now as we're recording this interview for you, Sarah just got her call about elite. I just got my call. They're just starting to make the calls from corporate. Lindsey and Shelly are awaiting theirs. They're going to stay present with us, but if we see them hit mute or grab a phone call, we know it's important. All right. So let me do some quick introductions and we'll get to the meat of it. Let's see. Sarah Morrison lives here where I do in Alpena, Michigan. We are Northeast Michigan girls. And she just moved into a bigger home because of her Beachbody income. She has two little kids, both under the age of 3. Her husband is a paramedic and firefighter, and he works 24-hour shifts every 3 days. So they have some crazy scheduling going on with that. And she is the communications director at a pretty swank health club called Bay Athletic Club. She manages that with group fitness, boot camps, as well as running this enormous, incredible business that she's created. She joined as a Beachbody coach in June of 2010 in a bit of a skeptical way, but we'll get into that. So Sarah, welcome to the Zoom.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I know that the ladies are on mute to keep the background noise down, so I'll do their intros and then I'll have them unmute and join in. Shelly is in Hillsboro, Oregon. Say it correctly, Oregon Ducks, Oregon. Just outside of Portland. And she joined at the end of 2012. And she joined as a discount coach for the first 8 months before she lit a fire. She started working full-time in the business while she was pregnant, I believe, in the summer of 2013. So we're just, she's just a couple years into doing this really, really more with focus. She is a wife. She is a mom of 4. She's got 3 little boys at home, and she's got 1 grown-up adult daughter. And she's a stay-at-home mom and full-time Beachbody coach now. Didn't start that way. We'll hear more about that. Welcome, Shelly.
Thanks, Trina.
Yay! And here's her success partner, Lindsey. So Lindsey Thompson lives in Canton, Connecticut, with her amazingly supportive husband, Brian. We all love Brian. If you haven't met him, he's the guy. 2 kids and a daughter and a son. She has always been a stay-at-home mom, and then she found her passion with Beachbody and started growing this business. Now she's both a girl boss and a stay-at-home mom. She joined in March of 2013 as a discount coach, started working the business in August of 2013. So you have with you 3 women who've been in the business for 2 or more years who are now at this really great peak in their business. So coaches, asterisks, disclaimer, if you're a brand new coach listening, please listen to this as in the ear of, these are women a couple years down the path from you. They're showing you where you can go, right? So don't be intimidated by what they're sharing. Be inspired by what they're going to share. Coaches who've been in the business a couple years or more who maybe aren't where these women are, be inspired by what they have to share with you. All right? Cool. So I'm going to kick it off with Sarah. Sarah, go ahead and unmute. You hit a huge goal this year. Right? A fraction of people. In fact, I just found out the number. 291 coaches finished the year as a 5-star or above elite coach out of 400,000. 291, right? How does that make you feel that you're amongst that?
That's crazy. Just those numbers, like that's less than 1%, right? So it's pretty surreal. It's like validation for sure that this coaching journey has been worth it, because it has not been easy. There's been a lot of ups and downs. There's been a lot of times where I remember just going home and being like, gosh, if I was in a coach, life would be so much easier. I could just sit on the couch and watch TV and not feel the pressure to write back to someone or worry about my challengers. It's less communication. Like being a coach is being a communicator, and communication takes energy and it takes it kind of out of you. So it can feel that way sometimes, but obviously hitting this goal shows that consistency through any obstacle you face is going to get you there, and makes all of that, worth it. All of it, like, it just proves that this will work if you're consistent.
So why did you believe it was possible for you? Why did you think you could be amongst that 291?
It's, I don't recall just ever sitting there and being like, I can do this. Like, I know that's a great thing. And I felt that to a degree, but it was really more of like, my team thought I could do this, and my sponsor, Trina, thought I could do this. And, some of my friends thought I could do this and stuff like that. Other people in the coaching world on our team thought we could do this, or I could do this. It wasn't so much like, I'm going to go after this. I was just like, I'll just help my team. And if it starts to happen, great. But I never spent too much time. I just knew I could be good at it. I didn't spend a lot of time thinking I can be an elite coach. I just knew I could be a good coach.
That's huge. So coaches, it does. And you're going to hear all different answers from these ladies tonight that, Sarah didn't go into this as, I'm the next elite coach. Really, I do completely agree that she saw that other people were believing her to that success. And then she's like, I have to put my head down and do the work. I can do this. But that's reminding us as coaches that we often have to help believe people around us to this level of success. So Sarah, it must have been amazing and very happy for you to get that call today about achieving elite. So Shelly, how did you feel? How do you feel? Oh, hold up. You're okay.
Sorry.
Okay. This, because sometimes the natural noise in the background and you guys laughing at each other is kind of fun. If you want to unmute, so Lindsey, Shelly, if you want to stay unmuted, you can. I know Sarah might have some background noise at home. We'll keep her muted. But Lindsey, if you want to unmute, you can, because it's kind of fun to hear each other. So Shelly, go ahead. I didn't hear you. How does it feel?
Well, my heart is racing right now. It doesn't feel real until I get that phone call. I don't know why I would not get the call, but I haven't really let it sink in, but hearing that number, 291 out of 400,000 coaches, just makes my heart race. And it's crazy. It's just absolutely crazy that it's there for anybody to achieve, but not everybody wants to put themselves in the position to go for it. It is hard work. And it's just surreal. From the very beginning, I decided when I joined and when I decided to start working my business that I was going to go all in. I didn't have a clue what elite meant, but I saw these coaches who were elite coaches who were going on these trips, and I thought, like we hear all the time, why not me? She's doing it. What makes her any different than me? And I'd watch these videos from these top coaches, and I would see them on their social media, and I would think, I can be as good, if not better. And I hope that doesn't sound cocky, but these are like normal, average moms, stay-at-home moms, women who just decided and set the goal and went for it. Mm-hmm. And it's crazy.
So I love that you share that piece. So, when I asked you before, how did it feel to earn this elite status, which in a moment I'll explain after Lindsey, for the new people on what are we really talking about here? You're all excited about it, but some new coaches are like, what's elite? You said it felt unbelievable. And then what I loved about what you said, Shelly, was that, but the people who were achieving it before me seemed no different from me. And that's what I love that you noticed when you looked at other successful coaches. Like, instead of you finding out all the differences, we start to say, oh, that person has more time, or that person has more resources, or that person's prettier or more fit or smarter. You just didn't create those gaps. And you just said, nope, they're really no different from who I am.
Yeah.
And I just feel like that's a critical part of your success.
Yeah. Thank you.
So Shelly, let's flip it to your success partner, Lindsey, and see how does it feel? I know you haven't gotten the official call. Let's pretend you do, because we know you made it. Okay. 5-star elite. By the time they're watching the Zoom, they're all like, she made it. How did it feel when you realized you had realized that goal?
It feels incredible. I mean, it gives me goosebumps to think how much of a person I've become and changed since 2.5 years ago. And where I started and where I am now, that like this goal when you first started and you hear these 5-star elite coaches and you're like, oh my gosh. Right. And then as you start to grow in the business, you realize like Shelly said, like my aha moment was when I first went to a Super Saturday and I saw these millionaire earners up on stage and I saw these transformation stories, and there was just this underlying, message from all of them that there's no secret sauce in this business. It's really just about doing the actions, believing that you can grow a team, believing that you are on the mission that you're on, and just showing up every day and digging in and doing the work. And when I saw that underlying message, that was when I was like, why not me? Right? Why not? Let's just go for it. But when I found out about actually being elite, it's crazy. It's just like, it is kind of a little surreal. But I also, I want to celebrate. If I get the call, when I get the call, I'm going to jump up and down like a crazy person, right? And probably scream. But I want to celebrate it with my team and be there and soak it all up. But I also want to I hope I always stay humble to why I'm elite, that it's because I helped grow a team of coaches, and that I hope I helped grow people, right, on our team of coaches become the best version of themselves, because that's how I grew my business. I was just working on myself, getting better myself. I'm always putting myself out there, and I want to challenge others on my team to do that, and they have, and that's why we're an elite team. So awesome. I always want to just I want to celebrate, and then I want to get back in the trenches and keep going tomorrow after a glass of wine.
Right. Great. I mean, really great words right there. So that reminds me of a lot of our mentor and friend, Todd Durkin. And one of his favorite things is stay humble and stay hungry. So that's what Lindsey just said without even knowing it. The idea of staying humble, that your success is the result of so many other people in your life. And don't put yourself up on a pedestal. Stay humble, but stay hungry. Still want it, still go after it, still get back in the trenches and earn it, right? So awesome to hear that from all three of you. So if you're brand new and listening and you're not really quite clear what elite is, in a nutshell, what elite means is that you have separated yourself from the pack. You have identified yourself as a top leader in this company. So to be amongst the top, less than 1% of coaches really means that you have worked on your leadership. You have built a team. You have at least 5 diamond coaches, and you have helped your new coaches on the team achieve Success Club and run challenges and build a team of their own. You've helped people take action. You can't buy your way to elite. You can't fake your way to elite. You can't know somebody on your way to elite. You got to just be somebody to be elite, right? You got to make it happen on your own. No one can give it to you. What are the perks of being elite? You, a 5-star elite now gets those 5-star quarterly bonuses. They also get the 2-star quarterly bonuses. And elite coaches get just so many extra amazing perks from the company throughout the year. From things like special, I brought mine up here to show. Special, I'm super proud of it myself, from being a past and present elite coach. They get these cool jackets for us at all these events. We get VIP seating, we get front row seating, we get to skip all the lines at all the events. You get a monthly bonus. There's so many amazing things about being elite. All the bells and whistles are fun, but I think at the end of the day, it's the achievement that no one else can. I don't know.
1,000%. Yeah,
the achievement, right?
Yeah,
I did it for the guitar.
Yes.
I not have to wait in lines, and so is my husband. But
the lines at the store.
It's
That's
the
good.
achievement, and it was delivering for my team too. They were cheering me on so much, and yeah.
I want our pictures with guitars this year. Yay! I'm so glad you said that. I forgot that was back there. I didn't even product place that. Okay, so let me ask you a question. So some of you covered this a little bit, but let me just give you one more chance to hit on it quickly. Did you always think that you would be an elite coach? When you joined the business and got rolling, did you see elite for yourself? And you definitely all saw this in different ways in your answers. So Sarah, did you see yourself as an elite coach when you first joined?
Heck no. No. I didn't even know what elite was. I didn't want to, my biggest concern was not being a Success Club groupie when I first started as a coach. In 2010, I didn't even hit Success Club until nearly 2 years later for the first time ever. So elite wasn't even on my radar. I know when it came onto my radar, I remember specifically, and I told him today because he was on the Zoom to tell me I had hit elite, was Arnold from corporate. He did a Zoom. When you're a diamond on Team Rockstar Fit, you get to jump on these Zooms every Wednesday they're awesome. It's a perk to being a diamond. But he was on one of those Zooms as a guest, and he broke down what it meant to be elite. And then I remember talking to Trina afterwards, and she's like, don't worry so much about the numbers. Like, they kind of have a different system that they'll coach you on. You just worry about being a good leader to your team and your coaches and help them be successful, and it will happen. So, you know, I didn't believe I could be elite, but I totally believe that I can help people get results in challenge groups, and I can help coaches who want this. So that was totally believable.
Yeah. No, that's it. Sarah, that's it. Like, just the, you know, the initial, like, no, when Sarah joined, she joined for a discount on Shakeology. And, you know, I think initially she thought she was doing me a favor more than herself. Like, all right, I'm going to help this, you know, I'm going to help Trina out. I don't really want this thing. But so she didn't join to be a top performing elite coach, but a couple years into it, she saw the opportunity and went after it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Shelly, you had a different answer for me. Did you see yourself as a successful coach when you started?
I did. Yes. I didn't have a clue what elite meant or what star diamond meant or anything like that, but I knew that that was out there and available. And it just meant that if I kept doing the work and being all in, that I was going to see those achievements. And elite was just one of those things, along with superstar diamond at some point in my future, being on a national wake-up call, you know, all sorts of things that are possible in this business. Yeah, I saw it, didn't quite know what it was, but I knew that I could do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew I wanted it.
I like seeing different paths to the same place, ladies, and that you have people on your team who are coming from the place of Sarah or Shelly, right? And so Shelly's saying, she said, I was awestruck by top coaches and that there's always been a fire simmering inside her to get there, right? So you might have that rare Shelly, and I'm going to say a rare Shelly, who comes to the business with the fire simmering. There's someone watching right now that's like, that's me. Shelly's me. I want it from the very beginning. But coaches, not all successful coaches are born that way. Many are created. So really great answer. And Lindsey, how about you?
No, I actually am the complete opposite of Shelly. That's why we're good success partners, I guess. Opposites attract. But I actually wrote on my notes, like, heck no. Like, I mean, when I was presented with the opportunity to actually coach, I was a discount coach for just 6 months. And when my upline said, you should look at this and like think, I was like, no. And I the reason why is I spent my whole life like living in fear of putting myself out there. Fear of failure, fear of what if I'm not good at something, so I'm just not going to do something in my life. The fear of, like that people would think certain things about me, like what other people would think, So I never, like I was against coaching, but with some encouragement from Danielle and Maria, my uplines, I started, and then it was a moment when I was on the brink of saying, yes, I'm going to be more active coaching. And then I thought to myself, okay, obviously I have this fear and I can either let it control me and my future, or I can feel the fear and do it anyway. And I share that with my coaches all the time, that saying, feel the fear and do it anyway. Because if it feels uncomfortable and it feels scary, that means it's exactly what you should do. Right. So I pushed myself, and then it wasn't until, this past year when I started, when you become diamond and you get those elite emails, right? Like you're trending towards elite. And I'm like, what's that? Like, that's cool. Sounds neat, And when you start to when you do the actions, and like you have always said, Trina, like if you do the actions, if you show up every day, if you grow your team, if you grow leaders, it's going to happen, and I just kind of put faith in the process. I just trusted the process. And I just want to help as many women, especially moms, feel good and create successful futures for themselves. And I did that. And that's like how it started to kind of get on my roadmap a little bit. Mm-hmm. But in the beginning, no, furthest thing from that.
I love the heck no, not even just like, no, I didn't see myself as a leader. It was heck no. I did not.
You probably said hell no.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I did.
So, but that's interesting because, these answers are not about me. They're about these ladies, but let me just show you how it breaks down. All four of us elite coaches on the Zoom here tonight, Shelly and I would say both came to the opportunity. Although I didn't know it was for me. I didn't know I was going to do anything with it. I guess I never doubted at the beginning that I would be successful if I did it. Right. So I had the same feeling of like, I'll be successful at this if I decide to do it. I don't know. I'm not that, maybe just a confidence that came to the business with like, I don't know when I'm going to do this thing, but I know I can do it. Right. So some coaches are going to be like that, but I wouldn't say a lot. Most coaches are going to come to you like Sarah and Lindsey, who are more skeptical, more negative, don't want to put themselves out there because no one loves failing. Right. Mm-hmm. But listen to Lindsey. feel the failure, feel the fear, and do it anyway. That sounds like my friend Rachel Doyle, right? Feel the fear and do it anyway. If you want it, or if you're comfortable where you are, don't do it. You got to want it. You got to want something better and, deeper for your life. I'd say not even just better. All right. So Sarah, just more logistically on this one, what did you do this year to become a better leader? Because there's diamonds and emeralds listening and they're like, yeah, I want this, but what did you do to become a better leader? Oh, you're muted, Sarah.
I'm so sorry, Chris. Our plan was for Chris to get the kids to the grocery store, and one has snuck away. But
no problem. Do you want me to go to Shelly and come back to you?
Yeah, pop back to me.
All right, Shelly. So what did you do this year to become a better leader? You had a really interesting answer for us.
Oh, well, one of the most important things I did was just focused on the people who wanted this. I have a large team and a large downline of my PS coach's own team. And I spent a lot of time in my business in the beginning just trying to pull everybody along and creating new trainings and getting everybody enrolled in everything and checking up on people when they weren't participating in Rock the Basics. And then finally it was just like, all right, I'm moving on because there are people that are running and I need to, go with them. And some of them who were like, I gotta give props to my girl, Natalie Tenassi, one of my diamonds who, man, when she came on the scene, like my game was just up to 1,000% to keep up with her. So just going with the people who wanted to go and limiting my time and my effort and my energy with those who didn't want to, and just being okay with that. What else? We started doing, we've got about 10 diamonds in our whole downline here, and most of them are local. And we started doing a monthly diamond dinner. We started that about halfway through the year, and that's been fun. And we just get together for a happy hour or a dinner, and we just talk and we kind of mastermind and brainstorm about what each of us are doing with our teams and what more we can be doing and share in all of that. I started using an app called Evernote really, really early in the year. And I just found that I was like spinning my wheels trying to find links to things and trying to find, I had notebooks all over my house and nothing was organized. And so I started using Evernote. I put together a video for my team on how I use Evernote and how they can, use that to streamline their business. And I mean, just in terms of like being a leader, I mean, there's so much to learn on leadership. And I'm a itty bitty baby kindergartner at leadership, but I really feel like in this business, anybody can be a leader as long as you are doing the 3 vital behaviors and showing your team that you're doing that. And like what I put in my notes to Trina was the 3 vital behaviors on Energize. Just that's how I shifted gears this year. I just completely amped up my personal development. And any opportunity that I had to listen, and I can't just sit and read. So it's all on Audible with my headphones. And when I'm running, when I'm cooking, when I'm at the grocery store, always, always, always personal development. And in fact, I was starting to miss music so much because I was always listening to personal development. But I felt like there was always something I could be listening to. There was always a Zoom I needed to get caught up on. There was always a podcast. There was always not just Team Rockstar Fit Zooms or National Wake Up Calls, but Beachbody YouTube channel. I mean, I was always watching, listening to something. And then just getting super duper vocal about my workouts on Facebook. Not just my workouts, but living and breathing Beachbody, about what it means to be a coach, about that posting that I did my workout. A little bit of my Shakeology here and there, not like a billboard for my shake every day, but like, this is me. I live, eat, sleep, and breathe Beachbody. This is my life. And I got really amped up about that this past year. And inviting like anybody, and I mean anybody who would listen, any challenger, anybody who would, anybody who commented on anything on one of my coach posts on Facebook. I just couldn't even stop myself. I just had to invite all day.
So she's not joking right now when she says the 3 vital behaviors on Energize. So coaches, just think about what Shelly just said. I wrote down she flooded herself in PD, flooded herself in personal development. So we're not talking about reading a book once a quarter. No, we're talking about changing the way your brain is working, hearing positive messages, hearing messages of overcoming failure. She was reprogramming her mind to be successful, flooding herself in personal development, being vocal. These are strong words, being vocal about her workouts and about the value of coaching in her life, the value of Beachbody in her life. So when she says she's posting and sharing all about Beachbody, if you look on Shelly's page, she's posting about the value that it brings to her life. She's not just posting about how much the workouts are, what they contain, or what, she's posting about what it has changed for her. So she's really putting her arms around and embracing this lifestyle of a coach. And she, like a few others, there's not a lot of people, Shelly, who do that, who will get out and just freaking suck it up and do that. She's embracing the lifestyle of a coach and saying, look at world, here is who I am. Take it or leave it. This is who I am. And the inviting with fury. I couldn't stop myself from inviting, she just said. Right? So proof the product works, inviting, personal development, bam. Shelly is your person to role model that way. Love that you're doing local diamond dinners. Love that you got organized with Evernote, and that you said that your favorite audio was "You Are a Badass."
Oh my gosh, I could talk for 60 minutes on this Zoom about how that book really just changed my business this year. I've never been and I poo-pooed the idea of that particular book because I was like, I don't struggle with self-doubt, self-confidence. Like, I don't need reassurance that I'm a badass. Not that I know I'm a badass, but
you are.
But I mean, I could be
get it.
John Maxwell or whatever.
Yeah.
But I kept hearing that book from coaches, like top coaches, every Super Saturday, every National Wake Up Call, and I was like, all right, there's something behind this. Oh my goodness, honestly, like, I just fully bought into the notion that you have to envision so strongly, so vividly, and you have to set that intention that it's already happened. Mm-hmm. And I just said, I'm elite. I said it all year. I'm an elite coach. I lived like I was. I conducted myself. And I think that's something that, Trina, you said that in Alpena when I was sitting right there in that office with you. Mm-hmm. And I was in tears just listening to it at that point because you said, when you were talking about your itty little bitty office before you became, superstar coach, you just were conducting yourself as if you were already a superstar coach. And that's how you become that. Mm-hmm. You have to live as if. And that's what I did.
That's so brilliant. Mm. It's awesome. And I heard that, by the way, from Allie Brown probably 6 years ago. And so I just was like, no success yet, no success to show for yet, nothing, just someone saying, live it like you are. And I was like, bam, I just changed. I just feel like I changed. So anyway, and that's an awesome takeaway from that book. And I thank you for sharing. Sarah, logistically, what did you do to become a better leader this year?
Wow. I'm like, by Shelly's answer.
Yeah, overwhelming,
There's
right?
like such passion.
You can't fake this, people. Right.
Yeah. I love that. I made a list of actual logistical things here, like helping lead Rock the Basics. I was so terrified to do that at first, and to coach people on a Zoom where it was just kind of like, I don't know the situation, I don't know them, and I just got to get on there and coach them. But it really just ups your confidence in yourself, and it helps you pick up other ideas and stories and experiences. And I think that really helped a ton. And with my team, it was really creating this culture of happy action takers. I remember sitting with Trina at a coffee shop, and she asked me what are a couple words to describe people you like to work with? And I said, happy and action takers. And that just became the theme of our team, is a place where happy action takers get together and high five and pick monkey recognition and a whole bunch of stuff. And I feel like that vibe is really strong. In the beginning of the year, I ran a lot of extra groups. I had people who went through Rock the Basics, and we didn't have we didn't have 4.0 or anything like that yet. And so I'd run just 3 vital behavior accountability groups, just keeping them engaged and keep them motivated, because I think a lot of the success from my team comes from the vibe of the team. I don't know if some of the people would be as successful if that vibe of the team wasn't there. Mm-hmm. They like showing up in those groups and connecting with each other and having a post to share there. and see what other people are posting and getting ideas from each other. I started doing meetings with my diamonds. I think I have about 10 in our downline as well. And we do a diamond Zoom every Thursday. So that's a really fun way because, I mean, when you get to the logistics of elite, you know, the coaches that are in your downline help to build that too. So if you can connect with your diamonds and just encourage them to be great leaders. And that's another point I have on here, like asking people to step up as leaders and letting them take charge of something and taking ownership and just running with an idea, because there's no way that you can do this on your own and just continue to lead on your own. I know all of my leaders are going to break off and have kind of their own team, still be connected, but they're going to be more focused, just like we have on Team Rockstar Fit. Like that's just how the process goes. And acknowledging that, talking to them about that, like here's how it was for me, like literally talking through that process with my leaders, and what that might look like and what to be prepared to be able to do. As I mentioned a moment ago, recognition. Like I remember Carl saying that's the fourth vital behavior. Scotty Hobbs said it on the Surge on Monday. The fourth vital behavior is recognition. There is so much recognition if you go on our team page. People who are losing weight, people who are hitting their first Success Club points, signing up their first coach, going to their first Super Saturday. It is alive there and like so celebrated. I did start having an assistant help me with some of the things that were just falling off the radar. You know, she helps make some of the graphics for the team. She responds to Beachbody leads, things like that. I listened to the Entrepreneur Roller Coaster. That was my personal development for the year. I love that book. Darren Hardy's a great communicator. I mean, more than anything, like, yeah, his points in the group or in the book are great. But like I said a moment ago, like being a coach is being a good communicator. And Darren Hardy is top notch at that. Like just the way he communicates the story, he uses stories to have points. It brings you back. And the way he talks, like you could just study that and become a better coach. So I really recommend that book. And the audio is great. He's really funny reading it. And I try to connect with my personally sponsored coaches who are doing something in this business at least twice a month, sometimes once a week, even if it's just 15 minutes, just to touch base, and have gotten a little bit better about asking them ahead of time, like, hey, what do you want to talk about? What do you want to get out of this call? And it's made it a little bit more effective instead of us both just trying to figure it out on the line really quick. Getting everyone in team cups, fall classics. You know, sometimes there's been times where I'm like, God, I don't want to do a team cup. I'll be honest. Like sometimes I'm like, gosh, another team cup. But changing my attitude about that first, because you want everyone to be excited, and just when everyone else is excited, that's going to change your attitude, and trying to get everyone on team cup teams, because that's like you times two. That's the company like matching your energy and your excitement to help your team. And yeah, I mean, just believing in my team.
Those are a lot of things. So you're hearing a lot of different ideas from the leaders of what they did to step up. So if you're a brand new coach and you feel like you're not at the point they are, you can still take these tips. You can still really embrace your personal development. You can get more organized. You can share your workouts like a boss. You can start believing in other people. You can have more meaningful conversations with your coaches, and you can start rocking your recognition, even if it's in your challenge group. Right? So take what you're learning from leaders and scale it to where you are in the business. Lindsey, what did you do this year? You'll hear the theme here to be a better leader.
Yeah. It's funny. Same thing, right? The first, hands down, my team, like, is probably rolling their eyes. They already know what's coming, but personal development, like, I harp on it all the time. I'm asking coaches all the time, randomly in the team page, like, what would you read for personal development today? What'd you learn? You know, I think that for me personally, it's been key, coming from the mindset of, like, you know, a negative Nelly mindset my whole life. You have to, I literally immerse myself in it. Like, I was just telling a coach, I have no idea what the cool songs are on the radio, because whenever I'm in the car, it's like personal development is playing, you know, Entrepreneur Roller Coaster, You're a Badass, all of those things. I mean, I even have like a waterproof speaker in my shower. I actually bought it for Brian for Christmas, but it was for us. But also, not just personal development books. I feel like live events, like, are so important. You have to get to a live event. That was when the flip was switched for me. My first Super Saturday changed the whole course of my life, showing up there. Because I feel like when you surround yourself with people in this room and you feel the passion and the energy and this larger mission, it's not just about the Facebook post that you're stressing about putting up right now. It's about a greater, brighter future for yourself and other people, so getting to live events, success partners. I mean, really finding one that challenges you, can call you out when they need to. Making connections with other successful coaches. Mm-hmm. So I'm on the Connecticut Market Council. Like, I didn't know any of those coaches there. So there are 10, 11 star coaches but when you surround yourself around people, you become like them, right? So reach out, seek out people that have had success, see what they're doing, chat with them. And like the Rockstar Retreat, like that was amazing. Just show up to live events. It's an investment in yourself and in your future. It can change everything. Another thing for me was I am not really great with organization. I'm just going to put this out there. So you have to know what you're good at and what you're not. And so it took me a really long time, but I finally this year got an assistant. And I remember, Trina, you've even said it, like in order to move your business to the next level, you need to free up your time. And so I'm not good at picture collages and all those kind of things. So I focused on having her do some of the things that allowed me to focus on the action steps that would move my business forward, connecting with coaches and that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Also, I started, it's funny, is when I first started, I feel like I'm not a huge recruiter of coaches, but I also feel at this point, like I have this vision of who I want to work with, right? So Kim Gorski talks a lot about avatar, who somebody that you really want, and so I seek out people that have been successful in other areas of their life. And I post a lot more now about the coaching opportunity and what it's done for my life, for my family, for my team. I remember, and I share with my coaches all the time, you have to share about the wins of coaching. Like, how has the coaching changed you? Because they see us doing all this work and we're posting and inviting to challenge groups, and like they need to see how it's had such a positive impact on all angles of your life, not just financially, right? But it's done for everything. So I post a lot more about the actual coaching and inviting to coach sneak peeks. One thing that Sarah touched on was the vibe of your tribe. This past year, we really focused on our team page of, giving birthday, like happy birthday shout outs if it's your birthday, recognizing the sale of your first challenge pack, success starters, whatever it is. It's like, it's helping coaches feel that boost of success, no matter like what, everybody loves recognition. And then the fifth thing was just always dig deep in your downline. And that was a tip I got from another coach on a different team. He's like, just dig deep, connect with people that are, a couple levels down. And that will happen if you're a new coach and you're doing the action steps, your downline is going to grow. Reach out and find the people that want to shine, that want to like run with this business, and connect with them and, bring them more into leadership roles and encourage them to grow too. So those are the things I've really focused on this past year that I think have made a difference for me.
Yeah. Awesome. All three ladies talked a lot about personal development. All of them talked about connecting with coaches on their team, creating a really fun vibe, creating a fun team page. And I love, Lindsey, that you brought up that you just started posting more about the benefits of the coaching opportunity, the physical, emotional, and financial journey that you've been on. And people see that if they're watching you. And I love that you're having your team emulate that. And absolutely, I do feel like that's been the vibe of Team Rockstar Fit, to dig deep in the downline, that no matter who your coach is, or, we did a whole team leader training on working with people in the downline, no matter where they are. So for new coaches listening, if someone's sponsored by you or not, if they're in your downline, they matter and you want to help out. So I love that you recognize that. In the interest of time, I'm going to go over this next question. I'll give you their quick answers. I said to them, you all attended Summit and the Team Rockstar Fit team retreat in Alpena this year. How important do you think events are for growing your business? I'm going to answer them for them. Sarah said hugely important. Shelly said absolutely vital. And Lindsey said massively important. So those are three endorsements. And then I'm going to let Sarah, just go to Sarah on this one. You can share your story about how an event changed somebody on your team. You talked about Kristen.
Yeah. Kristen, one of my 2-star diamonds on my team, she went to Summit. This is a woman who has recently reminded me that she nearly quit because she was trying to get to Success Club at one point. And of course, she was in that situation where there was like one person who was supposed to order and they didn't. So she didn't make it. And at that moment, she wanted to quit. I didn't realize how serious it was until she told me this last week. And it made my stomach hurt. I'm very glad she didn't quit. But she went to Summit and everything just changed. Like, she was all in. She was half in before. When people go to Summit, they get all in. it's hard to describe the energy, but just seeing the other people who have done this and seeing the legitimacy of this company. Like once I realized Beachbody was legit and had our backs and they want to make money, but they want to lead with their heart while they do it, I was like, okay, I'm not cynical about this anymore. Like that really helped. So going to these live events, seeing Carl speak, Jeff, Michael, trainers, you can't get that from Zoom.
Yeah. And I love that you had a coach who said that she almost quit because she didn't hit Success Club and now she's a 2-star diamond. And yeah, I'm just thinking, we all have, I think we can all say, what was that, Lindsay?
No, I said it's so true.
Yeah.
So true. Like, yeah.
There's things that can that can scare people off in the business. And if like getting them to a live event, getting them connected to the mission of the company can really, so Kristen Burns, we're so glad you didn't quit.
Yay!
We're so glad you went to Summit. Yeah. Coaches, if you're not on the wait list for Summit, here's your little commercial break. Make sure you're on the wait list for Summit. They always open up tickets. I know it says sold out. Go and get yourself on the wait list for Summit in Nashville in July 2016. All right. So ladies, I want to back this up a little bit and bring this down to some new coaches who are listening that, maybe a little bit intimidated by some of the stuff you're talking about, having an assistant to your graphics. What are you talking about? Right. It's all really good tips, but let's reach out to the new coaches. So for the new coaches listening, elite, having an assistant do stuff for you, using Evernote, being beyond, it might be beyond where they are right now. Okay. So what would you say to them? What advice do you have for them? Like, how can you help me light their spark, Sarah?
It's all about just showing up and trusting that what you do every day will matter. I remember when I first started, Janelle Summers was in Alpena like 6 years ago, and she was doing a live talk, and she was like, everything shows up 3 months later. It's a 3-month delay in this business. But if you stop showing up one day, then it's not going to be there. It's kind of like pretend you're swimming the English Channel. Okay, this wasn't my analogy I wrote down, but this is what I tell my coaches a lot. It's like treading water. Even on the worst day of your life, you have to keep your head above water. That might be getting in your back office and like posting your challenge group. Okay.
What about the English Channel? Go back to the English Channel so I can finish.
Okay, sorry. So like say you're swimming across the English Channel and it just looks like it's so far, but you could be paddling like this, like you're still going to end up there, but it might not be the fastest pace. But if you stop, the current's probably going to pull you backwards. So that was the analogy that just popped in my head. It's also like the story in the book.
Sarah, right out your window is Lake Huron. We could just go local with this.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's going to seem like a mile. That's why I put that. I mean, Lake Huron's like,
Just keep swimming.
Exactly. I mean, that movie is smart. Go Disney, but you have to tread water even when life gets hard. And life got really hard for me in the past couple of years, but I can honestly say I was always treading water, even if I just wanted to stop, but I didn't.
Yeah. At least stay in the game. I'm not going to say just keep your foot on the gas, even if you're not going 100 miles an hour. Sarah, I love that you had said, we keep saying show up daily. And people are like, what do you mean? But I love that you said doing non-attention grabbing things, like doing your workout, inviting to the business, being present, mentoring somebody, picking up the phone, checking on a coach, following up on an email, following up on a challenge pack, following up on an order. Like it's not sexy stuff every day. You're not walking across the stage every day. Maybe once in your life, maybe once a year.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And as you start coaching and you just get into this more healthy lifestyle, like your workout seems like a norm, your shake seems like a norm, but you still got to show up and do that. And, that conversation, even though it might be your fourth one of the day with the coach, it's still important and it's still pushing you across that channel.
Okay, channel. I'm a swimmer. I'm loving this analogy.
I started doing analogies all the time when I started working with Trina.
I know. I love them. I love analogies. Keep bringing them. Tread water, people. Okay. Don't drown. Shelly.
Drowning is quitting the business. No longer
drowning is quitting. I love it. It's so smart. Okay. Shelly, what would you say to the new coaches on the line? Light their spark. What would you say to the new coach?
Well, gosh, I think Sarah just kind of hit the nail on the head. If you have, like I said in the beginning of this call, I didn't know what elite meant or what it took. I just saw other coaches doing it and I knew that I wanted it. And I knew that it just meant doing the work, showing up every day. And that's perfect. Like Jeff Hill says on the National Wake Up Call all the time, just don't take your foot off the gas. Even if you're slowing down, just don't quit. And I mean, this business seriously is just not rocket science. There's not a secret handbook that we can get from Trina that's going to, show us the way to end up elite. But we can latch on to Trina like a leech and listen to everything that she says. And I got to give Vito a little bit of credit too, so he doesn't feel, he does send me wine, so I got to give him a little bit of credit. But they know what they're talking about. They put together these amazing trainings and we get it for free. I mean, I sometimes I just want to, just like bang it into my coaches' heads and say, like, all you have to do is show up and do these steps. And you don't have to know what it means. Like, I didn't even know until May, that in May, I had to actually go back and pull up all my elite reports from January on of this year. I had no clue what elite meant. I just knew, in fact, I set the goal at the beginning of 2014 that I wanted to be elite by the end of 2014. I never did the work to figure out what the hell that meant or what the points meant or what anything. And so anyway, just do the work. If you're going to set the vision and the goal to do it, find out what it means to get there and just keep doing it every single day. And I can, be the testament to just, I'm sure we all have crap and it comes up in life daily, weekly, monthly, whatever. Your crap is different than mine. Mine's different from yours. But when you want it, you just keep going. You just keep swimming and you go for it.
Yeah. And I mean, Shelly, you'd said in that, you wrote in your answers, and we say this on the team a lot. So to the new coaches out there, achieving this level of success in the business or any level of success is not convenient. And life throws things at you. And what I try to remind coaches is that keep Beachbody in the forefront, because it will be the thing that helps you through the rough times. The extra income, the extra freedom, the extra friendships, the extra support, the extra confidence, the extra personal development will help you when someone rocks your boat. Life rocks your boat, right?
1,000,000%.
So it's the last time, when something's rough in life isn't the time to bail. When something is rough in life is the time to say, Beachbody is going to help me get through this. And I know for a new coach, that might seem strange, but think about it. Being in great shape, having great friends, great personal development, extra income and freedom, how would that not help you in all areas of life? Right? Okay. Lindsey, to the brand new coach, quick advice for a brand new coach.
I would say be a sponge. Just be open to the whole opportunity. Be open, try to soak up what you can in the trainings from other coaches, show up to events and understand what this opportunity could really be for you. And I think you see that from seeing what the success of other coaches and hearing their story and along for their ride. I also, this sounds tough love, but the dream is free. The hustle is sold separately. It's one of my favorite quotes because you have to decide what you want in this business. And as a new coach, you're going to find as you go through it what you really want to achieve, how much work you want to put into this, how much you don't, and your success or your how you grow in the business is related to the work that you do, so it starts and ends with you and how you show up and what you do. So, it's just based on your actions, not what you say you want to do, right? What you actually show up and do. And then the last thing was embrace the uncomfortableness. There have been more times in the past 2.5 years that I've been uncomfortable and way outside of my comfort zone than in my entire existence on this planet. But like I said before, if it scares the heck out of you, do it. Feel the fear and do it anyway. Embrace it, because that's where you grow as a person. When you grow as a person, then you can pay that forward and help other people. So that's my advice to new coaches.
Really, really good stuff. I love that quote. The dream is free. The hustle sold separately. Yeah. You can make dream boards. You can put up cool quotes. You can say, I want this. I want that. I want to walk across the stage. But are you willing to put in the work? So coaches, I just want to clarify for a second, because I've been listening to this through the ears of a moderator, but also through the ears of a coach listening. And I want to just clarify a couple things before we hit the last ones here. When we say show up every day, you got to do the work, you got to do the hustle. I love that Shelly said there's no secret handbook. So I think coaches might be sitting there thinking, okay, what are you doing every day? So I'm going to break it back to what Shelly said at the beginning. Are you doing personal development every day? Are you proof that Shakeology and fitness works in your life? Are you a product of the product? Are you a stronger, fitter, happier person, right? And are you inviting? So I'm just going to add on to that. Are you inviting people to change their life through fitness, nutrition, or a business? Are you inviting people to change their life through fitness, nutrition, or a business? Then what else are we doing every day? If you're wondering, well, what are these girls doing every day? Well, we're also mentoring and pouring into other people every single day. My calls are not fancy. I'm on the call or on a Zoom with somebody. I'm saying, did you talk to your coworker about joining your team? How did that go? What did she say? Are you thinking about, just having normal conversations. Do you think your sister-in-law would want to do the business? What would be in it for her? These are day-to-day conversations, nothing fancy. I am talking people through conversations about the business. That's what I, as a leader, am doing. I know that's what these ladies are doing. We're showing up on social media. We're coaching coaches. We are proof the product works. We're doing personal development. We're inviting. So that's what we're doing. So if you're wondering, like, what to-do list is she using? What to-do list is she using? We're all doing those things. Would you guys, ladies, agree? I know that, there's other pieces to it, but that's it.
Yeah.
Vital behaviors,
right?
That's your handbook to success, is just exactly what you said.
And Can I add something to that really quick?
Of course you can.
Since we have had the privilege of being added to the 5-star wall just within the past couple of days, it is so amazing and reassuring to see these 5-star and up to superstar diamonds posting the same questions and having the same concerns and like asking for advice from other coaches. They still don't know it all. They still don't presume to know it all. They're sharing their tools. They're sharing, banners that they might have made or things that they posted in their team page. And it's just like
refreshing.
Like, there was no secret here.
No.
Yes.
I often wonder, I was looking in the wall the other day. So coaches, the 5-star wall is where 5-star coaches have earned a privilege to be in this private page. So I want to demystify it a little bit because I was thinking, gosh, I never talk to Sarah about the wall, or very rarely do I talk about it, because honestly, it's cool. It can be distracting because you're hearing what 1,000 coaches are doing, right? And it's nothing novel. People ask in there, do you run free groups on your team? When do you start them? What book is your favorite book on leadership? Right? So there's nothing, I'm going to say it this way. Instead of saying the negative, there's nothing special. There's special stuff there, and there's special privileges of hearing information first, but there's no secret dialogue going on outside of anybody else. No. And I would say
that they would be speaking another language in that page.
No, and I think once you are in Team Rockstar Fit or in the Diamond page or in your team page, there's so much good dialogue going on right around you. Don't wait for success for when you get somewhere else. Like, what you need to know is right around you. So I am so happy these ladies acknowledge that in the 5-star wall, the conversations are the same as they are right here. Right? So you run the challenges.
Having that mindset that there's something that you're missing, that coach is successful because of this. I suffered from that so much. You can't have that mindset because that's going to slow you down. Like, you can't think that someone's got something you don't. They don't.
That's so true, Sarah. It's a really, really, and so it's almost, you guys have used the word refreshing, validating, really powerful words tonight that mean that, like, there isn't anything secret out there that I didn't know about. They're inviting people to Shakeology. I'm still talking to my neighbor about getting on Shakeology while she's home with a bad foot. I'm still having the same conversations all the time. Talking about Shakeology, talking about fitness programs, talking about the business. The business to me is about time freedom, right? So we're just all having conversations about the business all the time, right? So that's what we're doing. All right, ladies, I want to jump to the end because I'm sliding in something different here. Before I want you to each give me just a 30-second version on, and I know that's quick and tight for you, but 1 minute version. I'm going to type 1 minute version on frustration. You are shining stars right now, but you have felt frustrated this past year. Sarah, 1 minute on your thoughts on frustration.
I guess that's frustrating. 1 minute. Frustration is probably like a weekly thing in this business, but personal development is what helps you manage it. And I've learned so much from Trina. Luckily, my personal development is kind of like a live book or audio. I just learn so much from her all the time. She's so able to quickly change her mindset when something would totally piss you off, to just looking at it with a new frame of mind, and that it's not going to serve her to be angry about it. And how do we deal with it? She can quickly get to that point. I guess I could share a story. It was really scary to want this goal of wanting elite, because in 2014, I thought I was going to hit premier, and I was so close to hitting premier, and premier is like elite, but a few less points in 2-star diamond. And I could have pushed to make it happen, but I got overwhelmed, and I was struggling with postpartum depression. And that was some serious treading water time. Like, it was hard to even post in my challenge groups. It was hard to even have anything to share on social media. But those are the 2 things that I made just keep happening. But it was hard to communicate. Like, I couldn't even communicate with my husband. Like, I just wanted to lay in bed, couldn't sleep, couldn't have a straight thought. But I still had to keep this coaching thing going. So I had to fail at Premier. Like, there was no way I was going to be able to do that. So that was frustrating to feel that way. And as I was getting close to being 5-star, like, I didn't even really start thinking about it to the end of the year. I was like, okay, this is kind of doable. Okay, I think I'm going to say out loud that it's my goal. I remember texting Trina because it was like the week before I had to qualify, and it was lining up, but it still wasn't there. And I was like, I can make this happen, but I'm going to have to like get really uncomfortable and like kind of help things happen a little bit here to make it happen. And I texted her and I said, is this worth it? Like, oh my gosh, I'm like losing it. I'm stressed out. Like, I can't function. And she wrote back an analogy that just totally changed my mindset. She said, if you're running a half marathon, which I do all the time, you would not stop at mile 12. And I was like, this is mile 12. I just got mile 12. But that was really frustrating. But if you want anything, it's going to be frustrating at times.
Awesome, Sarah. So coaches, that's really honest stuff there. Being able to work this business through postpartum depression, through having 2 little kids, having a difficult time communicating, failing on a big goal. Sarah wanted Premier that year. She didn't make it. So she didn't throw in the towel and go home. She just decided to get better physically, emotionally, and in her business. So sometimes you got to fail to succeed. All the time you got to fail to succeed. So Shelly, 1 minute on frustration.
Okay. Oh gosh. Frustrations. I mean, there's a lot in your business and in personal life. They're just going to happen. And for me, my vision was so clear about this goal that no matter what got in my way, I would get pissed off, first of all, excuse my language, that I would let something in, and I would like let it break down the barriers, because I've been like literally so focused on this goal and felt so strong about it. And whenever something would seep in, I would first get mad that I allowed that. And then I would start to think, what if I actually let this stupid thing derail my whole big, huge, like everything I've been working for all year? And then I would get even more mad. I'm like, there's no way in hell I'm letting this stupid little thing or that stupid little thing, or maybe it was 5 stupid little things that piled together 1 week or 1 month. And Lindsey, I can't even tell you how we talked multiple times a day. And there were points when both of us wanted to quit. And I hope that that's okay to say, Lindsey, and I'm not speaking on your behalf, but there were points where we both felt weak, and one of us would like want to throw in the towel, and the other would say, hell no, you're not. This is what you want. You're doing this. And we both had that balance, you know, when one of us was strong, the other wasn't. And we both went through that. And I think that just goes back to why you need to understand why you want it so badly, and just not let things take over. And again, that just comes from the personal development of understanding your why, and then understanding how strong you really are and what it's going to mean a year from now when you actually can say, I hit this goal and look at all the crap I went through to get here, and I survived all that.
That feels cooler than
oh heck yeah,
front of the line at the cruise.
Yeah. So, coaches, I'm going to go to Lindsey on frustration, but stay with me, because some people are thinking right now, why would they ever even want this? This sounds really
sorry.
So I know, no, I want, the rawness. Shelly, all these people made dream boards saying they want to be 5-star elite. This is real. I want them to know what it means. But at the end, I'm going to let you finish with what it's done for you. Right. So coaches, we're not pretending it's easy. We're saying it's worth it. And they want to throw in the towel. They struggled. They were frustrated. Anything worth achieving in life is worth fighting for. So I'm cool with this part. I want them to hear this. Frustration, Lindsey, give us your 1 minute on it.
Yeah, I was going to say that it's the journey, right? That is what it's all about. But yes, frustrations loud and clear. I feel like they're going to happen, and the sooner you accept that and embrace that, right? Like you embrace the uncomfortableness. It's part of it, right? And this business is one that is built on peaks and valleys. It just is. But I feel like it's in those valleys that we grow. It's like literally where we become better, right? And I, in particular, had, I called it my failing forward summer last year when I, had gotten my business to 2-star diving coach and poured myself into the coaches I had, and just really was so in it for them. And it was at that point that both those coaches needed a break, and they stepped back, and my business dropped back down. And this actually happened when I was at leadership retreat for 2-star diamonds and above coaches. Back then it was 2-star. And I remember sitting there talking to Trina like a hot mess, like I don't even deserve to be here. Right.
Goosebumps remembering that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it was that moment that was another turning point in my life, in my business and everything, when I literally just took a step back, right, and refocused. I dove so deep in my personal development. I leaned on Shelly and Maria and Danielle and Brian, right? And I reached out to other successful coaches. And I said to them, who were 2, 3, 4, 5-star diamond coaches, and I said, it's part of the process, right? Like, it's just part of the journey. And they said, yes. And they're like, you just have to keep going. It's peaks and valleys. But when you get to the top of that next peak, it is like nothing, that's out there. It's so worth the journey,
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like the hardships and the ups and the downs is what makes it so rewarding, probably, to get that 5-star elite stamp. It's hard. It's hard work, but it's the best work. You're working on yourself. You're helping other people. I believe that there's no other opportunity out there like this one. And you just have to embrace that it's going to go up and down. And now when I get frustrated, I feel it. I mean, we're not like these robots. Like, we feel it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's so easy to look at these 5-star elite coaches with like these awesome posts on Facebook, and they're like, God, it's like a walk in the park. Mm-hmm. It's not. Like, we all go through the same thing, and so we're all on this journey. And the sooner you get kind of comfortable with knowing that it's just going to be like that, you feel the frustration, feel it, and then let it go and keep going. Pull up your bootstraps and march on. That's what I always say.
Yeah.
Okay.
So go ahead, Sarah.
Really quick. I just love that. And I've heard that before, but the way you said it clicked like perfectly. Because I used to just live a mediocre life and thought that's what it was. Like, you can either live a life like this, or you can live a life like this. So yeah, I love that.
And this is like, it's just comfortable, right? And you're sailing, but you're not really living.
Yeah.
You're alive, but you're not really living. And it's not until I feel like this business, when like those valleys make you stronger and those peaks are like, yes, and you've got the support system around you, and there's just nothing like it. And it's 1,000% worth it. 1,000%. I mean, these are like faces of people that have, like, you guys have changed my life for the better. I'm a better person. And you don't get that anywhere else, but you have to dig in and you have to just be in it, and accept that it's going to be that way. And then you'll get there, whatever you set your sights on, you'll get there. That's how I think of it as. That was longer than a minute, but everybody
I'm not going to
talk a lot.
Bringing it home here. So what I think is interesting to hear from both Sarah and Lindsey is that they had a goal of hitting 2-star and they failed. They hit 2-star, they dropped. Right. So coaches, on your way to, let me just talk to you right now. You're on your way to diamond right now. You have an emerald and a couple coaches, and your emerald dropped. You're just like Shelly. You're just like Sarah. You're just like Lindsey.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Things are going to drop before they grow. A challenger is going to return that challenge pack. Someone's going to cancel their coaching account. People are going to say no to your business. Right. Mm-hmm. So these little setbacks happen at all levels of the business. So I want to end with this one. And I really, ladies, this has been a unique Zoom for us and a really heartfelt, great Zoom for the team, but a different one in that we're talking to people who might not quite be ready to hear what you're saying. I mean, if I were a brand new coach listening, I would feel right now inspired by you, but I also feel like, it sounds like a lot of work, a lot of frustration. It sounds like throwing in the towel. It sounds like, got to be all in, like, is it really for me? Those are good things to think about, coaches, is being an entrepreneur and owning a business and being successful and being a girl boss or a guy boss or whatever. Is it for you? Right? And so I want you to, if you're wondering if this is for you, I want you to hear their then and nows. And I think that you're going to leave the Zoom knowing it's for you. So I want you to listen to who they were when they started coaching and who they are now. All right. So Sarah, we're going to start with you.
When I first joined as a coach, I was skeptical. I was cynical. I looked up the definition of that today just to make sure that was the correct word. And so it is. And I was a pessimist. You know, I didn't even get on Shakeology Home Direct right away. I wanted Shakeology, but I didn't get on an HD right away because I honestly just thought I was going to do it. And it was just something that was going to help Trina. Like, how mean is that? I'm sorry. But
oh, it's so true. I love it. Mm-hmm.
Like, I just felt like I was a groupie, or like, I was so scared of that kind of stuff, you know, being judged, all that. But, you know, when it comes down to it, I was my biggest obstacle. All these thoughts in my head just were piling up, and it was a whole bunch of negative crap. But now, I mean, this change happened over time and by being a sponge and letting some of this stuff soak in. But now I strive to be an action taker. And when I feel an excuse coming out of my mouth, I literally stop, because I just hate excuses that much that I can't even bring myself to say them. So I just go fix it, because I don't have time for excuses. Like, start doing, stop excusing. I believe that I have the power to allow my husband to hopefully quit his job in the next couple of years. He works 24-hour shifts, and it's weird. He's gone every third day, all day long. We've got 2 small kids. They're very confused right now. So I would love for him to be able to have freedom to be home and not work that job. I believe that can happen because of this business. Because of this business. That was never a dream I had until I started seeing that this business could work and I could make it work. I believe that I can truly inspire people to get healthier. I believe Beachbody is a legit company that leads with its heart. And if you have gone to any event or watched the Surge, like, you're going to see that too. They are. So from a complete cynic, trust me, like, this company is real, and they want to help people and help you be successful. So, you know, I've gone from a cynical pessimist whose goal in life was just to make $40,000. I started as a news reporter, my first out of college. I paid more to go to college than I made at my first job. I just realized that. That's sad. And I started with $17,000 a year reporting a whole bunch of bad, negative stuff happening in the world. Like, that's all the news is. And that's what I was doing. And so I went from that to making a 6-figure income. This is a girl who just wanted to make $40,000. Like, that was my goal in life, to making a 6-figure income with 2 small kids, postpartum depression, a husband that's gone every third day for 24 hours, and the biggest skeptic ever. Like, I'm still kind of skeptical about stuff. Like the Shakeology boost, I didn't know for a while, but now I really like them. But it's completely changed. Obviously, my bank account, our futures, but just me as a person. Wow. Like, I like myself a lot more, and I have way more friends who are supportive and positive and action takers.
I just let that sit for a second. So some massive changes, coaches. And so I want you to just hear what they're saying and take it in. And whether you want a 6-figure business or not, maybe you want to earn $1,000 a month to pay your mortgage or your car loans or your student debt, whatever it is, scale what they're saying to you. Sarah didn't want to be a 6-figure earner when she joined this team. She didn't even think that was remotely possible. She would have thought that it was for me, right? So at this point, listen, this is real. She didn't want to get on Shakeology Home Direct, and she's making more than 6 figures and bought a new house and is going to retire her husband from a job, and he's in his 30s. Right? This is legit stuff. So I hope these women have felt very down to earth, human, real to you. And then, because then when you hear these answers, you're like, right? Okay. So we're all at different parts in the business, and we're not comparing successes, but you all have successes to talk from. So Shelly, who are you then and who are you now?
Okay. I'm going to try and get through this part without crying. I mean, I've written blog posts about just the changes in my life, and I've written, Facebook posts. I've struggled with depression after each baby, and dealt with pain, severe back pain, that resulted in being not addicted to, but needing to use pain pills every day, and drinking at night. And it wasn't a problem. It was a drink or two, but it was each night just to kind of unwind or, just chill from my day. I would wake up when I heard the baby, whichever baby, there's been 4 of them. I would wake up when the baby started crying in his crib. And only then would I, get out of bed and shuffle downstairs in zombie mode to take care of my kids. Whereas now I'm up hours before them so that I can work out or do my personal development or unload the dishwasher or, to be productive and to take time for myself. Zero structure, zero discipline in my life. I mean, I didn't set goals. I didn't want anybody telling me what to do. I just got through my day, went to work to pay my bills, came home, and was not a neglectful parent, but definitely just kind of going through the motions. And I mean, financially, I don't know that there's a word to describe there are lots of words, but they're not appropriate right now. It was a mess. It was a mess. And I can't even say that we were living paycheck to paycheck because there wasn't any paycheck left by the time the next paycheck came. In fact, it was, overdrawn. Our account was overdrawn before the next paycheck. And once payday came around, it was, whatever was left to get us out of that. And after groceries, then we would pay the bills. And this was just 2 years ago. 2.5 years ago. And even 2 years ago, the beginning of my Beachbody business, before I was making making anything. And wow, just so much emotionally, so much as a person. I'm just really proud of how far I've come in that regard. I'm just confident because I know that we stand for a company and a CEO with so much integrity about what we do and what he wants to give to this country and his mission. And like Sarah says, it's a legit company and we can stand behind that knowing that, Carl Deichler has our best interest in mind. And he truly is sincere about ending the trend of obesity and helping people live healthy, fulfilling lives. And to know that I'm a part of that and that I have this tool that I can offer to somebody to bring them in so that they can feel the same way that I get to feel every day now is incredible. Financially, there is money left at the end of the month. Versus month at the end of the money, if that's how it goes. Bills are getting paid. There was a point I wasn't answering my phone because it was always a bill collector, and I just quit answering my phone, and I couldn't make a payment, and I avoided a lot of bills, and that was the wrong way to go about doing it. So it got us in even farther over our head in debt and in fees and in penalties. And we've paid so much of that off and actually now have a savings and are able to enroll our kids in things that they want to do in sports that are super expensive and pay cash for Christmas and for trips. And we don't use credit cards anymore. Everything is cash. So that's huge for us.
Yeah. So this is why this is kind of putting the Zoom in perspective, people, is
Lindsey.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
That's hard to say. It's not easy to talk about that because it's embarrassing and it feels like, like I let us as the financial advisor to our family just kind of forget, we didn't have the money anyway, so I'm just going to ignore everything. And there was no alternative because there was nothing else coming in.
You need to. Yeah. Yeah. Well, she started this business while she was pregnant with her fourth, while she was pregnant. Right. She just said, this, and she saw success for herself. She believed in herself. She looked at other top coaches. She emulated the way. She got in trainings. She just went. So coaches, no one hands this to you. No one handed it to Shelly. There's tons of tools. She dialed into trainings, podcasts, Rock the Basics, National Wake Up Calls. She dialed in and did it. So that's why I wanted to get to this piece because I knew that the journey to elite was not going to sound amazing to people until they hear what it can do for your life, right? So Lindsey, I would like you to share your kind of then and now.
Yeah. And I think it's the journey, right? That it's all about. It's who you become along the journey. That really is what it's all about. I started, emotionally, like I suffered with postpartum depression bad. I had a little guy, my second little kid, when I first started Beachbody. I was a negative person. I grew up in negativity. That's all I knew. I hid in fear, this massive fear of failure, shy, introvert, always. I lived my life by what I thought other people would think of me. It's this feeling of just being trapped, in life, right? Just existing, not really living. Never really felt like I fit in anywhere, like that I belonged in a place, right, with a group of people. Physically, I mean, I was born long and lanky, but there was not one bit of muscle on my body. I mean, I always refer to the push-up thing because I remember starting P90X2 and I was so mad I couldn't do a push-up on my knees like the first day, but I stuck with it, right? It's a small little daily things. I couldn't run a mile, totally out of shape. And financially, it was actually at the moment when my husband's job was placed on the line and they told him you could lose your job in 3 months. And at that point, his boss was already cutting his pay. And so, when we bought our house and, what we had, we bought it he was making different amount of money. And so then to hear that at Christmas time, we could be losing his job as a stay-at-home mom, that feeling of like, I want to contribute, like, this is my opportunity to change things for us in our future. And I saw it and that's why I dove in. But now, I feel like I've become and I'm becoming the person I was always supposed to be. I mean, I used to wake up and be like, oh, it's the daily grind, like kids, bath, pick up toys, right? Like that was my life, grocery shopping, woohoo, and so that is wonderful. And I was taking care of my family and I still love to do that. But this fulfills a part of me, gives me such a sense of purpose that was so missing, that I was just longing for so much, I wake up, I feel engaged, I feel fulfilled, happy, like their kids have like a happy mom, a mom that runs around with them at the park, that wants to be active with them, that's teaching them to be strong, to be healthy, that it's okay to be fit, right? And so physically I feel super strong now, where I'm at, like knowing that my body is capable of what it's capable of, that I've built this body, like to be proud that I put time and energy into building it. And financially, it just totally changed the game. I say it all the time. I mean, Trina, you asked me when we first started, what do you want to do? And I said $100. Like maybe I'll cover my shakes and make $100. I say it all the time. It's crazy. We weren't in credit card debt. And since doing this for, 2.5 years, we are no credit card debt at all. I've paid off my car. My husband, that crappy job that he used to work for, we got him out of there. He went to work for his family's business, which was always his like dream goal. But it was a big pay cut and there was no money, right, to be able to do that. We needed his income at the other crappy job. So we got him out of that and he worked for his family's business. And that's helping him fulfill his goal, right? And house projects and, getting a medical bill in the mail for $1,500 and being able to pay that with 1 week's paycheck now, an unexpected bill. I mean, this is real life stuff that it just provides a sense of security, a sense of freedom, a sense of being fulfilled, something you're passionate about. I kind of want to strangle people when they say they don't want to do it, because it's like, why would you not want to do this? And financially, I mean, last month, December, was about $9,000 that I made in the month. And to think that for me, being somebody that like, I was just wanting to get a guilt-free pedicure with my $100, and I'm very open with people about what I make because I want them to know that it's possible. And this is a business that just keeps growing and you put time into it and it just keeps doubling and it's not slowing down. We're just all getting warmed up, so to think about that, it's like, it's crazy. Sometimes I just want to pinch myself, but I I think it's just all, like I said in the beginning, it's the journey. It's who you become through that. Those shiny objects and the elite jackets and the, front of the line, like Trina, you always say it's the shiny objects, and like that stuff will fade away, but it's like really being happy with like how your life is going and feeling engaged and showing up. And these people and the people you connect with on our team, and that's what it's about, right? And then you just pay that forward and you help other people feel the same way. I did say I talked a lot. Everybody knows I talk. You can.
Hey, I it was my favorite question, so I wanted to make sure I gave you ladies time for it. So coaches, thank you for dialing in tonight and to listening to their stories. These women changed their lives from pessimistic or out of shape or, taking pills to deal with back pain and getting through the day with their kids to living, thriving, not just surviving, paying bills, creating opportunity, changing their future, changing their kids' lives, right? Changing their relationships at home, all of that. So it's worth it whether you want to be a diamond or a 5-star elite. Please go after your dreams because you can't put a dollar amount to what these ladies just said. Mm-mm. Right. So I want to honor your time tonight. We did go over, but I had 3 people who we wanted to hear from. I want you to meet me right now in the event page. I'm going to throw down some trivia. You're going to win some prizes. I want to hear what you heard from them. So have a great night, everybody. Thanks for being on.